Bit of an absolute beast in fairness. The only thing I'd say the negative on it is just weighty. In like the plumbing stuff in here, so I don't have to keep taking it in and out because Yo, hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So this is the first job back after the new year, and hopefully you've had a fantastic time off like I have. Been very, very busy. Also sorted out the van racking. If it was warmer, it would have been more enjoyable. Let's put it that way. If you're new to the channel and you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you do. Link is in the corner. But today, this is the first day I've seen this job. Now, Steve's been out here and Sean's been out and had a look. But we're in a garage, and as you've guessed it, we're going to be doing a garage conversion. So as you can gather, it's pretty much a bog standard single garage as it stands right now. But what we're going to do, we're going to convert this into a utility and also a little bit of a smaller playroom. So as you can imagine right now, there's a big fat garage door. So the lads are going to be here next week because this is the end of the week anyway. Starting back at the end of the week, mind blowing. So they're going to brick the front up, new window in. There's going to be a wall coming across right as we speak here. So then this area is going to be the utility room, and you'll see why in a second. And this area here is going to be the little playroom with the doorway that's going to be cut through into there. Now, the house isn't particularly old, although it's probably older than you think. Let me just have a look. It was built, looking at the board, look. So this is original for the house, and this board was installed on 2013. So one of the jobs that we are going to be doing is changing this. So we're going to be changing the board out, full test on the house. Obviously, all the electric's going to be going, and there's going to be, in this little utility area, we've got 4 downlights. 4 downlights going into that area. They want to be Wi-Fi controlled, so they can control them through Alexa. Little sink in here. There's also going to be a boxing in. It's like I say, it's a proper utility room. So jobs for me today is trying to get the first fix all sorted as much as we possibly can. Cut some areas of the ceiling, so we've got some track lines because it's a bedroom directly above. I haven't got easy access, so the easiest way for me is to cut a channel all the way through. And then just basically tidy things up where we can. Now, the board that we're going to be fitting here, it's not going to be today, is going to be a Hager because its customer has specified that is what he wants, so that is what he's going to get. We've got some double sockets that are going to be going into the playroom, one on that side and one on this side. So yeah, so it's a nice straightforward job in fairness, but then leading forward, there's going to be a lot more work going, future plans once we get this one. This is the first phase of the entire project. So, right, better get some kit out and get this ceiling cut up. So, as with anything, we're now obviously going to sort out the cutting of the ceiling. So the reason why we're going to be cutting that ceiling is because we've got a bedroom directly above. I don't want to mess around with it. It is winter. It's freezing, to be fair, today. I'm absolutely Baltic. So we're going to use the oscillator. So the oscillator is going to be the weapon of choice. Now what I'm going to do is draw down on the ceiling about a foot line, foot width, sorry, all the way down. I'm going to cut all that through, and then that way I should be able to have a nice straight run, and I can drill my holes for the joists, get all the downlight cables ran, and also the drops ready for all of the sockets as well. But I find using the oscillator the fastest way of doing it, so let's get that marked up. So marking out for the ceiling, we're going to go old school, and we're going to use a string line. That's the best way for today. Nice and simple. So all we've got to do now is cut that through. Okay, so the ceiling is out, stripped all the way down, which is spot on for us really. I don't really need to do a great deal more with stripping for me anyway. The lads might want to do a bit more. So what I need to do now is get a cable run all the way through. So what I'm going to do is going to drill probably a 28mm, 32mm, something like that, all the way through the centre of that, push the insulation up out the way. One of the little handy tips when you're doing that is you can use a string line it all the way through, because you want to make sure that they're all nice and straight, because when you're pulling the cables, if they're straight, it makes life a lot easier. The other thing is to make sure as you're going up into the joist, say if you're drilling this joist here, is make sure that you check both sides. Sounds stupid, I know, but the amount of times where I've seen people and they've not checked the other side, they've just gone, nah, and just took it for granted and drilled through, and end up in a disaster. They either go through a cable or a pipe, on your head be it. So that's what my next plan is. I've got the supplies, I think, so there's no insulation in this bay, which I'm a bit surprised at, in fairness, there's no insulation in there. And there's also no insulation in the one directly above your head. So just chatting to the client a second ago, and this house was built in 1998, not 2013 as I originally thought. So it is a little bit older than what I actually first thought. So as you can see from here, we've got a steel that runs across Cobweb City. So there's a steel that runs across here because the house actually starts, like the bedrooms start from here backwards, because obviously this is my cavity wall that carries on all the way through. And this is why this has got no insulation here, because it's actually a cold zone as such. Don't need any insulation in that, because it is literally pointless if you're doing that, because there's nothing to go in there. Oh, well, as it was at the time, but it will need to be insulated now because it's going to be a room, but originally, you're with me. So the clients also asked me about the meter tails. Is there something we can do with those meter tails there? Bearing in mind that I've got no way of distinguishing whether there's any cables there as such. So a few options that we can do. So one is I can get those meter tails in and buried 50mm deep. Quite a lot for a block, considering the blocks are only 100mm thick. That's half of the strength of the block gone. One of the other things, I can put it within the cavity. I can get it within the cavity if I want. Also, there is a socket that's going to be going down there. So if I put it in the center of that, then that will highlight to say, yes, there's cables in place and you shouldn't be putting a clip, nail, whatever you want in that position. But it's a little bit of a poor thing, considering this is a new build. I don't understand why they didn't put that consume unit here anyway, because it would have made sense anyway to do that. I don't know why that is been like that. Like there to there, it's definitely way more than 3 meters. So we're gonna have to do something about that with the regs wise anyway. Okay, so I've just drilled through all the joists, obviously making sure that I haven't gone through any of the cables or pipes, which would be an absolute disaster. So I've used the whole hog. You don't have to use one of these, but this is something that we bought because we usually have loads of different things. Bit of an absolute beast, in fairness. The only thing I'd say the negative on it is just weighty as. So what we're going to do is we're now going to start running through, dropping in some first fix cables. So what I'm going to do is kind of concentrate on the sockets and stuff. I've just marked out where the walls are going to be. So just on here, I've just run a level line up this way. So from this part forward is going to be my utility, because I've now got the actual plan for the room. The boiler's going to be all boxed in because we obviously they don't want to be seeing that. And it's just an L shape essentially. So here, right here, is going to be the sink. So the sink area here, it's going to be a block wall rather than a timber wall. I've just had that confirmed by Shawnee. So it's going to be a block wall. So Sean's going to be coming in on Monday, I believe, to be cracking on with that. So what I'm going to do is, because obviously I've got the sink on this side's the other room, I'm going to leave the cables hanging out the ceiling, much to Sean's annoyance, no doubt. But we're going to get on with some first fix. So cable wise, what we're going to be using is some Doncaster cables, some Earthshore, so 2.5mm. So we're going to run a little mini radial mini ring in here because it's going to incorporate the utility room and the playroom as well. So better get that all loaded up. What I'm going to use also is the Run Protect for my cable drum dispenser. Cable drum dispenser, even a thing? You know what I mean. So that's what we're going to use. So, right, let's get some cables ran. Okay, so I'm just going to run the cables now, so down, just drop them like that. So I've just spoke to the client, he wants some additional work done, which we'll go through that later on. So we've dropped the cables down to this stage now, so they're all very, very loose at the minute. So we've got a socket above here, and then there is a washing machine and tumble dryer that's going to be going down there, so we'll sort that bit out. And then this cable here is essentially coming out because the wall's going to be sitting down there. So I'm going to leave these really long, and then we'll coil them up. So what I now need to do is just get a bit more cable out of the van. But I'm sure you're all wanting to know, I can get in it, that is, anyway, a little bit about the old racking situation. So this is the Bot Smart Van racking system, which I had in the previous van. And now, because I've now gone for the long wheelbase one, that section there has had to be replaced. But all these ones on here are all the original ones on the back, and also the deck here. Now I know there is supposed to be a beam in here, but I didn't put it in the last one, and I'm not going to put it in this one because it clamps down onto this, and that's just the way I want it, rather than anyone else. So yeah, it's absolutely wicked. So it took a little time because I've been doing it over Christmas, but in fairness, it's something that I've wanted to spend a bit more time with it on this one. I've made some adaptations because, like I said, I had it in the last van for 3 years, and so we've got the drum pockets that we had here. Obviously, they're not called drum pockets; they're cable drum shelves, I suppose. So I had those two in the last ones, and I realised then that there weren't enough. So we've added on these other two on here. I've gone for some deeper storage because then I do need to label everything up. Like I say, there's lots of stuff to keep playing around with this. But you can tell this is an older box, and obviously these are all new. But I'm trying to keep various stuff in, like the plumbing stuff in here, so I don't have to keep taking it in and out, because I've been caught out quite a few times by not doing that. And I've added loads more shelves in for all the little bits and bobs. But yeah, there's loads and loads of stuff that I'm doing over time just to try and make it a little bit easier. And what I do like about the Bot Smart Van racking system is it's actually really simple. So if something's not quite working for you, you can just unbolt it and just move it to a different area. It's like down here in the old van, I used to have that pull-out drawer, used to sit here, but then it was always covered in with a load of stuff, so I couldn't get to it, so I've moved it. So I've moved it this time. A few other little bits and bobs, just makes life a lot easier. I've not put these panels that I had in the old one that went across there that were called perfo panels. I've not put those in this time. At the minute, I've still got them. I just haven't put them in yet because I quite like having the open space really that I can grab in from both sides. But like I say, it's my first day back after the new year, so we'll see how it goes. But just thought, there is a full video on this that's coming out. I just thought I'd give you a little quick insight in it while I'm grabbing some more cable, which is very handily stored in my cable selection.
That was quite an impressive display.
Ooh, I know, I know. First time. I also would like to have a shout out to this customer. In fairness, this customer is actually a subscriber, and I'd like to say he took note. Thanks for my tea. Beautiful tea, Bicky Wickies. He knows the crack. Okay, so all the actual socket cables now are loosely in place. Now you might be wondering, what am I going to do now in regards to actually fixing them to the wall? Now, I could be putting all the back boxes on, but because of the insulation and all the rest of it, I've just spoke to the lads and they said, hang on a minute, don't get putting the back boxes on because they might actually be using insulated plasterboard on top of all this anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix all the cables down to the wall and leave them loose, and then when I'm back next week, I can then obviously fix back boxes on if I need to, and obviously if I don't, then they're going to be dry liners anyway. So what we're going to use is the spit nailer and also some all-round band to fix on. So what we're going to do is going to run a level line down. So I've got a guide to go to and then fix all my cables on one side, like I say, using the spit nailer. Now this side, because this block is different to this one, so this is actually a concrete block, that one is a thermalite block, the chances are that this is not going to fix very well into the actual block. So I'll try on the mortar, doesn't always work, but whereas on the concrete blocks, this will fix in like nobody's business and you will not be getting that back out. So we'll get a level line ran down, and then we'll start fixing up. So like I say, this is going to be a wall in here. So we've got a double socket here. They're also going to be having a double socket and a fuse spur, which is then going to control the outlets for the washing machine and tumble dryer, which is what we're going to get on with shortly. But then we've got a fuse spur, which we're going to put down here, which, because this will all go, these sockets that are on, so there's that one there, and one there, they're all going to go. We're going to isolate all those off. Same with the lighting. What I think I'm going to do is going to drop the lighting out of here, put another circuit in, but let's just focus on one thing at a time. So let's get the laser level on. I keep saying laser level, it's not laser level, the level. Can't be bothered to get the laser level out. My van's too far away. Oh, another thing, I'd like to point out how bad this wall's been built. Look at the gap there. Look. That is mental. So touching at the top, there, run it down. Wow, that is mental. Look at that, awful. And then touching at the bottom, just to prove. Just thought I'd just double check this side. Ain't no better. Touching at the bottom, and then we get to a big fat gap. Okay, so we're now trying to fix up onto the thermalite blocks, and as expected, the spit nailer, it doesn't work. It just won't work on there because the block itself is too weak to take that. So what we've done is we'll use a raw plug. So I use these from Fisher, they're Duo Powers. They are brilliant, and I mean brilliant in this type of block. So what we'll do, we'll stick 2 lots in, and they've got a real actual proper decent pull on these. So get them all the way through. So I've put a level line all the way down, as we can see, and then that is essentially what will then create all the way down. Whereas on this wall, we managed to do it with the spit nailer, which obviously is a lot faster doing it that way. But the thing is, by doing it this way, it's just a better job. Now, some people might say, why have you not put in capping and all the rest of it? As there is capping on these old ones which are going. I personally don't see the point in using capping at all. I think it's a bit of an old method of installation, and it really does date back from when you haven't got full RCD protection across everything, because in theory they were, and the older metal capping, they used to have that thought that would give you some kind of mechanical protection. And yes, in theory it does a tiny bit, but you only have to go to most houses that you work on, older properties where you're stripping stuff out, and you will find pinholes in them where someone's put a picture up. So it's kind of pointless. So the only benefit it has, it keeps adhesive off the cables, but that's about it. There's nothing more to it. So I don't bother anymore. I used to use the oval capping a lot, and even then I don't use that anymore. So, you know, leave your thoughts in the comments below whether you still do it, and if you do, then tell me why. Why do you still do it? Okay, so I've now clipped all the cables up around the walls basically. So I'll just quickly show you those. So we're going to be running down here. So we're going to have a double socket here with an isolator that's then going to drop down to here, and then a double socket that's going to come in here with a fuse spur dropping down there. So that will take care of the washing machine and tumble dryer there. So we've clipped down this point here, the fuse spur that's going on, but I've just got to take all, so that one, and that one needs to come off. These are my tails ready for the new ring when I change the board and the testing. And then we've just clipped in all of those dropping down there and here, because we're still jury's out on what we're doing with this one. So if I do this, then if I put the cable, the socket smack bang in the middle, that should catch the prescribed zone. If I could just tweak that slightly. I don't know. I'll be interested to know what you guys would do in that situation. Let me know. So now we're coming on to sorting out the downlights for this area, so the utility room. So one of the things that I like to do is to actually draw essentially where all the units are, because this is going to be an L shape on here. Let me stick you on there. Because it's going to be an L shape running across, it's quite easy for people to forget that, and me especially, to forget that you've got wall units and things like that going all the way around on this design. Now, you don't want your downlight directly above your wall unit because it looks absolutely rubbish. Also, it's ineffective as well. So what I've done is I've used the chalk line to go on the outline of the front face of where all the wall units are going to be in there. So that should, in theory, make life a lot easier. So effectively, what I've got here, so that line, that chalk line there, is the base units sticking out. So that's that line that runs down, comes down that way, and then returns across there. So the base units are actually that side. So here, in this one, the reason why I've got to kick that out 600 so I don't forget it, because that is going to have a tower unit in that corner, and also the boiler housing sticks out a lot further than what was standard wall units. So I think the standard wall units are about 360 mil, something like that, that stands off. So by putting the lines on the ceiling, which might look like chaos, it does give you a visual representation of what that's going to be. So you can do it. I say I'd prefer to do it because then I can see what's going on, and then obviously I can stand back and look at it and go, right, okay, is those downlights going to work there or not? So I haven't got masses of room. I'll be honest with you, I haven't got masses of room, so I'm probably going to be putting them fairly tight to it. There's 4 downlights to go in this area, which is going to be more than enough, and they want them all smart controlled. So, right, let's get these all marked up properly. Okay, so we've got the downlights all drilled in place now. So we've got these 4 in. So that I'm happy with where they're going to be, where they're going to sit out now. So what I'm now going to concentrate on, because I'm running out of time, as you can probably imagine. So we're going to leave these on for tonight. So that, and obviously these sockets, because I need to make sure I keep the boiler in, because it is absolutely freezing right now. I'm getting very, very cold, and it sucks. So what I'm going to now do is start running for the cables for the lighting circuit in here. Same principle really, so we're just going to come from the board, going to go up and then down, and then I'm going to drop it to the light switches, because I'm going to put the loops in the lights switches, loop light switch, so that'll all go as well. So we'll cap those off, plumbing term, isolate them off, that's probably better, you know. So we're going to do that. Also this needs an extraction unit in here, and the client wants it actually in the ceiling, so that's fine. So we will have to core drill out and put in some vents going out that side, because obviously this is the outside wall anyway. So we'll get on with that, but that ain't going to be today. That's not going to be happening. So I thought if I put the loop down to here, and then we'll have to bring it up across, down across my head, and then here where they're going to cut in, the lads are going to cut in the new entrance for the playroom as such, and then that will get rid of that, because at the minute there's just 2-way lighting for there, so that'll be straightforward to get rid of anyway. And then I can drop this and obviously get rid of the light, but Sean's going to moan when he turns up if he hasn't got any lighting, and I get it, I do get it. So let's get this cable put in place right now. See, when you've got the drum runner set up, the rumper tech, like down here, it just glides effortlessly, and it just makes life a lot easier. Now, what I tend to find is if you throw it further away, it just runs a lot smoother, and we can just get the job done really well. So you may have noticed I've been using a little bit, it sounds like a product central, isn't it, this? But it's not, they're not sponsored by anybody. It's just that I'm trying to push on the old knowledge. So this is called a Gecko, I believe, and that's from Super Rod, and that's what I found. Because you've got insulation in here, it sort of skips on the top, and then you can go down, but occasionally it will snag on something, whatever's in there, but generally most of the time you can get over it. But if not, like I say, they're not expensive, but it's coming out to play more and more recently. And that's why it's so good, because it's fairly straightforward. Don't rush it, and it's fine. If you go crazy with it and try and like straight across, it doesn't work. But yeah, simple bit of kit. And for this, it's dreamy. But obviously, you need to put the right bit on. Okay, so we've now got our loop back down to the switch, which again we'll tidy all them up when I take all the power off and stuff. But so the loop's back to the board, to the switch, and then so now I'll come out from the switch and then fill all the downlights in, and that's those done. Now I must remember to do a map of the downlights before I leave, because that has been something that has not been going too well, because I keep going, oh, the lads will do it. Which is wrong, because the lads shouldn't be doing it, it should be me doing it. And then I'm moaning when it has not been done. My fault, not anybody else's, but I need to start doing that. And then put it onto our group chat, which will make life a lot easier, won't it? So probably better do that before I forget. So I've just been speaking to the client and we've got a few more jobs that they want to do, so we can take care of those. That's not a problem, we'll deal with those. So we've got the loop feed in now, and I'm going to stop at this point because as you can see, it's starting to get dark. And that sucks, and I don't want to, I'm frightened of the dark, I need to get home. So we're having a little bit of a square up, so we're now going to be putting in there's a shower upgrade that's going to be going on and a few other bits and bobs. But one of the things, we've got to put an extraction in here. So I've just got to confirm, because there is a flue out there and I was ideally hoping to get the extractor right in the center. But I think that's going to come out where it's going to be quite close to the actual flue. So I need to check the regs on that to make sure we don't foul any of those, because that would be very, very stupid. And we're not going to do that. So yeah, so quite a decent day. So I always find the first days on new jobs a little bit trickier because you've got to try and get through a lot of stuff. So there's a lot of rubbish that needs clearing up. So we've got a lot of phone lines. We're now going to change the Ring doorbell as well, because we're going to change that. There's a lot of Ring stuff that's going to be going on at a later date. And that's it though. So we've rattled through quite a bit of cable, in fairness. We've got everything going still, and it's been fairly successful day. Also, the customer has made me some, or I would call them, they did tell me the proper name for them, but they were like an onion bhaji, should I say. And it was actually really, really nice. I don't normally like them, but genuinely really, really enjoyed those. So yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you have, make sure you subscribe to the channel as usual. Link is in the corner, it's completely free, help it grow. And leave your comments below. Would you have done this the same way? I'm interested to know about the capping, whether you cap, you don't cap. How do you go about doing things like that? And yeah, whether you like the new racking in the van. Let us know. So we'll see you on the next one. Take care, thanks for watching.